Yeah, Dr. Sriparna. Yeah.
Isaac joined back. Yeah. So we are. Your net is quite good, and so I'm feeling so happy. Like Dr. Costa had some issue with the net, so oh my God, I thought that
Maybe
I
I'm
would.
having a good day.
Yeah, thanks. That's it. Oh my God. Oh my God, I just thought Dr. Costa would not be able to join today, and we just wanted to talk. I just thought, but how will I manage now? I can't call you also to just let's start with the show. I was like in the middle of it. So yes, we'll just wait for another MT Mastermind. Hi, hello. We'll just wait for another few minutes so that our viewers to join back. So till now, till then, I'll just ask our viewers. So I just want to know your feedback, like how you guys are getting the knowledge, because I gained a lot from talking this till this time, starting from Dr. Kostap to Sriparna this time. So I have gained a lot of knowledge. So what about you? I'm just asking our viewers, have you gained, have you got to know very important or some important points or something new points? Yeah, Isaac. Hey, Isaac is my co-admin. Isaac is saying very interesting. Yes, Isaac. Even we have been waiting for this day. We for the first time we are talking to people from the medical fraternity. So yes, we'll just wait for another 2 to 3 minutes. So yes. So I hope Dr. Sripanna, you are also too, very much busy with your this one COVID duty also, right? You have been
Yeah.
doing the COVID duty, yeah.
No. I have been scheduled. I have my COVID duty scheduled for the coming months. I haven't done as of now.
Okay. Yeah. So Dr. Sri Parna is also one of the frontline workers. Her duty for COVID for to treat the COVID patient is scheduled for the next month. So yes, we also wish you all the best and to take care of yourself during that point of time. So yeah, let's not further waste the time. So we will just continue. Yeah, so Dr. Sriparna, we have just talked about the mental health and what everything till now what we have talked. So I just want to go to a very hot topic, which is the hot topic right now, about depression. So um,
Yeah.
depression people perceive in a very different way. Like if somebody is sad also, I believe that there is a difference between
Yeah.
I think MT Mastermind. I don't know. I hope I have been saying this that she is a doctor. I introduced her in the very beginning of the show. I think, but I think you were not there. She is a doctor. She is Dr. Sriparna. To introduce her again to you, she is Dr. Sriparna. She had done her graduation, the MBS degree from Jorhat Medical College, and right now she is doing her post graduation in the Department of Psychiatry from our very renowned Guwahati Medical College. I hope you are just not confused with that. She is a singer. She is not. She is our doctor, very
I am
talented and
happy
very.
with the confusion.
Huh?
Absolutely, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with this kind of confusion.
Oh my God, you are a singer
As
too?
long no, I'm happy. But if I'm thought of as a singer, I'm happy. I don't mind
That's okay. But I would
because
say that.
I have immense respect for artists. So if somebody considers me as an artist, I'm absolutely fine.
Thank you so much. Taking it in a very positive way. So I hope this confusion is cleared for MT Mastermind. Not question.
I think you got stuck, Niti.
Yeah, your video is actually buffering. Yeah. So people, what I feel is that people perceive sadness and depression in a similar way. If somebody is sad, people say that, oh, I am very depressed, not knowing that depression is I think, some different sort of thing. So please enlighten us and showing the difference about this phenomenon.
Yeah, sadness. Yeah, as you have rightly said, for common people, it is very difficult to know what is sadness, to understand the difference between what is sadness and what is depression. So, sadness is basically an emotion which occurs as a reaction to stressful situation. I hope I'm just Can you make it? Am I making
Yeah,
sense?
yeah,
Yeah,
please,
it's
please.
just a it's just a transient feeling. It's just a transient feeling, and usually it occurs as a reaction to stressful situation like any kind of failure, any kind of interpersonal conflict, or anything as such. And usually it gets relieved after some time upon venting out in the form of anger outburst or crying or any kind of with these kind of emotional expressions. This sadness is kind of relief. But when this sadness turns pervasive, that is, it turns continuous and remains as such, or it worsens, and as far as the WHO guideline, it tests for a minimum duration of 2 weeks and is accompanied by other symptoms, physical symptoms, clinical symptoms of reduced sleep, inability to concentrate, decreased appetite, lethargy, feeling of heaviness of body, irritability, anger outbursts, feel like crying all the time. When this sadness is accompanied by all this mixture of myriad of symptoms lasting for at least 2 weeks or more than that, then it is termed as depression. So sadness is just a part of depression, but
Okay. Yeah.
depression is a whole sphere, and sadness is just a slice of it.
Okay. So
And
here
to
is
term it as depression, yeah, you term it as depression, you have to have a minimum duration of 2 weeks. Unless, yeah, the symptoms are very severe, then the clinician can term it as depression in if the symptoms are less than 1 week, but they're sufficiently severe enough, they're severe enough, only then can be termed as depression. So yeah, so basically this because of this confusion, I think people tend to loosely use the term depression. আজি মোৰ মনটো ভাল লগা নাই, depressed হৈ আছো,
yes.
আজি কাম কৰিব মন যোৱা নাই. So this nuances, people have to know this. Only then they'll be able to appreciate the difference. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. So here I'll just interrupt. Dr. Deepjyoti Deori is here. He's also
I
upcoming
know.
psychiatrist from Assam Medical College. Yeah. He
Yeah, I
told
would just
me,
like to say him hi.
yeah, he met
Hi,
you.
Deepta.
You can comment that he met you in Bangalore, I think, in a conference. He told me about it. I just said, please do join our session. It would be very. So he's here.
He's
He's
a
very
wonderful
supportive.
singer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even I
he's
am
a
planning to
wonderful
have him
singer.
on. I
Yeah.
won't spare like that. So yes, Dr. Sriparna, to all the viewers, she simplified it in a very simple way that it is a transition phase. Not everybody who is sad is depressed, right? If we term it in a
Absolutely.
yeah. Not everybody.
Just to
If
say
we
it
come,
simply, yeah, if you consider depression as a sphere or a football, then sadness is just a slice of it. Sadness isn't equivalent to depression, but just a part of it. When
yeah.
sadness is accompanied by other constellation of symptoms, then they can be termed as something which is equivalent to depression, which is again, medically speaking, it is a mood or affective disorder, and
Yeah.
which requires treatment. Sadness does not require any kind of treatment as per se. Depression is something which requires pharmacotherapy, or simply putting it, it requires treatment with medicine.
Okay, so yeah, it is very important that if you are feeling someday that you are not feeling good, or you are having some bad day in your at home or somewhere in your work, then do not think that you are depressed. Depressed has to be there has to be a continuous for it should be continued for 2 weeks. And if you are
Absolutely.
right now, the viewers, I'm saying to them that they got to know about it, that there is a transition phase, there is a phase of 2 weeks. So if you, during that period, if you're thinking that you are having some issue, go and rush to a psychiatrist, go and rush to a,
Absolutely. Having said all these clinical symptoms and this WHO defined criteria for the duration to call it as depression, having said all those terms, having talked of all these topics, I'd still say if you are having some kind of issue, no matter how short the duration is, you should still go and see a professional, or at least talk to someone near or dear who can probably understand you better and might see the solution better than you at that point of time, and can suggest you to go seek the help of a professional.
yeah, even if it's a very important point that you say, Dr. Sripanan, that even if we do not feel like going to a psychiatrist, we can talk to anybody whom we trust. I guess we can talk to them, and we will just feel that lightness, right? So
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and
it
we
has
have,
both benefits. Yeah, you'll feel better probably after renting out, and then the other person might be that you are not able to see the, I don't know, the perfect solution at that point of time because of clouding of your emotional state. Somebody else, if you talk to someone, that person might have a better view of the problem, or at least can suggest you to go to a psychiatrist. So it is of, yeah, it's of paramount importance that you come and you go and talk to someone, talk to
yeah.
a near one. Even if you are hesitant to go visit a psychiatrist at the first go, at least go and talk to someone you are comfortable with.
Yeah, and even this lockdown period also, no, even when I talked to Dr. Deepjyoti also, he also told that, not Dr. Deepjyoti, one of the psychiatrists I have to talk to, and even that person has said that the doctor said that now in the OPDs nowadays they have encountered most of the cases who are some sort of where people are having some sort of sadness or depression, mostly depressed patient. And in this phase of lockdown, they have something related to lockdown. They are sad or depressed about this lockdown kind of situation. So yes, in this phase also. We are there. I think you are also getting more people like the people who are sad or depressed, like any mental
Yeah,
issues
yeah,
they
yeah.
have.
Yeah, actually, because of lockdown, or even though this psychiatry burden, the burden of anxiety and depression has gone up due to this lockdown issues, people are having, I guess, problems in commuting. So not many patients have turned out in the OPD as one would expect. So because of this issue, our government has set up helpline numbers which will connect a person directly to a professional. So you can talk to that person over phone. So yeah, that's one thing in place, especially for this COVID and lockdown situation.
Yeah,
Yeah, but bottom line, anyhow, you talk to a professional, talk to your friend, but just talk,
talk
just
to
share your
somebody.
problem, talk to somebody. And if it is just spiraling and it's going out of hand, then you must and you should definitely consult a professional, consult a psychiatrist. There is,
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely no shame in that.
No,
Yeah,
yeah, no shame in talking about such kind of things, because ultimately it's your loss. If you feel that it's a shame or it's a stigma, then ultimately you are at loss, not other people. The rest of the people, they are enjoying their life. You are at loss who are thinking that it's a stigma. So we have so many upcoming
yeah,
psychiatrists coming up from Guwahati Medical College, from Assam Medical College with Dr. Deepjyoti, and there are so many, and Dr. Sripan, and so many colleagues are there. So in the Northeast, in the Assam only, we have so many upcoming budding psychiatrists. So you need any help, just go and contact them, talk to them. So
absolutely,
anybody, yeah, they are always there. They are ready to help you at any point of time. So this is a very important thing that you have told us. So I just want to talk to one more thing about it. That not all depressed
absolutely.
patient, I think they commit suicide, but some
Yeah,
depressed patient, they do commit suicide, right? Like in the case of if we talk about Deepika
absolutely.
Padukone and
Yeah,
Sushant Singh Rajput, we because they are our celebs, so we know about them. There are many people who we don't know about it because we don't talk about them. So Deepika Padukone, even she suffered from depression, but she didn't take her life. But Sushant Singh Rajput, as it is speculated till now that he was under depression, he took his life out of depression. So how does it progress from being depression into that? Suicide is something like taking one's life is a very horrible step. So how does it goes? How does it progress?
see, okay, before moving on to the topic of suicide, we should know the effect of suicide. So
Yes.
recently, the recent WHO data shows that approximately there are 8 lakh people who commit suicide every year, and then there are 20 million other people who attempt suicide every year. So this means every 40 seconds, one person is committing suicide and dying out of suicide.
Every
So
40
coming to
seconds.
India, absolutely, yeah.
Oh my God,
So
like
this is the
40
recent,
seconds. Oh
yeah,
my
8
God.
lakh people, huh? Just, yeah. And then in coming to India, out of those 8 lakh people who have committed suicide, approximately 1 lakh 35,000 are Indian, which constitutes the 17% out of the suicide population. The 17% are Indian. So this is the, this, what can I say? This is the magnitude of the problem. So now, although depression is, what to say? around in India, 45.7 million people are suffering from depression, of which 1,35,000 commit suicide every year. So this is the ratio of depression versus suicide. And again, suicide, the most common cause of suicide is depression. So to determine who all suffering from depression is going to commit suicide and who is not, we have to know the classification of suicide. Suicide, as classified by WHO, it has three severity. One is mild, moderate, and severe. So depression has three classes of severity: mild, moderate, and severe depression. And it is usually in the stage of severe depression that people commit the extreme step of suicide. So what we have to know basically is what are the signs and symptoms of suicide. So usually, like I have said already, the signs of suicide, the symptoms are, it starts with a low mood, pervasive and sustained symptoms of a low mood and decreased interest, lethargy, low self-esteem, decreased appetite, anger outbursts, remaining withdrawn to self, not talking to people, poor self-care. As the situation progresses, when the person comes to a stage of having feelings like feeling of worthlessness, as in the person starts thinking, I am not good enough, I am unworthy, I am worthless, I don't deserve to live in the society. Feeling of worthlessness, feeling of helplessness, these feeling like helplessness as in if nobody can salvage me, if I can't take care of myself, no one else can take care of me, I'm in a very bad situation, probably I should end my life. And then there is thirdly there is idea of hopelessness. These ideas of hopelessness, meaning that there is nothing more left for me to cherish in life. I have no hope of recovering, no way of going back to my older life. Basically, these three factors: idea of helplessness, idea of hopelessness, and idea of worthlessness. These three
Yes.
factors, the presence of these three factors, are mainly what determines a person whether the person is going to attempt suicide or not. Ultimately, these three ideas in the mind, which is commonly called Beck's triad, because it was coined by the physician psychiatrist Aaron Beck. So Beck's triad, ultimately after this three, the person will eventually progress towards thinking death wish. Will have death wish like it's better since I am worthless to society. I have no hope for the future. I am helpless. Nobody can help me. It's better I should die. It will lead to the formation of certain kind of death wish. This death wish will further give rise to suicidal ideation, how to commit suicide, the plans, suicidal planning, and on. And ultimately, in this entire thing, ultimately this entire paradigm will lead to attempt of suicide. So again, a suicide attempted might not be a complete suicide. That depends upon the lethality and all those stuff. So basically, what we should look out for is the development of this idea of helplessness, hopelessness, there is no hope for future, and worthlessness. If these are the ideas which have developed in a person, then we should really be alert. We should actually immediately rush that person to a psychiatrist, because these are the prime signs of a person committing suicidal, like taking suicidal steps, any kind of self-harm behavior. These are the three determinants basically.
Right. So basically, if we encounter, if anybody in who is known to us from our relatives or in our family, or any friend of us, if we see that somebody is feeling worthlessness, helplessness, as you have mentioned, then please talk to them. Talk to them first of all if they are not willing to, because I think depressed persons, they do not want to talk, I guess. No, they do not want to cope up with the uh, people.
No, it's
I
a no. That's a funny thing. Actually, depression, from what we are taught, depressed people, they have a help-seeking attitude. So, contrary to
Oh,
the popular belief that people who
yes.
are depressed, they don't want to do. Depressed people, they have this help-seeking attitude. It's just a matter of our perception of picking up that nuances, no matter how slight it may be. Just depends on us how good we are, how well we know about the illness to pick up the small hints. Because these symptoms, saying like even in case of Sushant Singh, if you just go back and look at his post, you can actually know that there were subtle, on the hindsight, you can actually say there were subtle signs that he was depressed. Probably some people were saying the other day he had put up a picture of the starry night, and then some
Yes,
some
yes,
kind
yes.
of, yeah. So these are this mild, these are like small gestures that people put out depressed people in a hope to gain help, to seek that help. It's just about, it's up to us to identify those help. So yeah, to see them on time, to recognize those signs, and then come to their aid.
Yeah, so it's basically we we'll have to be more cautious. Like as you said, even I have that thinking that depressed person, they do not tend to talk. They just try to isolate themselves. But you said in another way, that's the main point of that's the point of talking to an expert who is an expert in this field
Yeah,
because
even
then
that irritation, yeah, that irritation, that irritation and anger outbursts and mood fluctuations which develop when the person is going through depression, a phase of depression, even those speak a lot. Even that irritability, then one should always look out. Then what is causing that irritability in that person? What causing that anger outburst? So I'm saying it's just upon the perspective of the bystander, how well they are at picking up the nuances. Otherwise, depressed people, it's not like people are depressed and nobody will come to know and they'll commit suicide one fine day. It's not like that. We keep on
Mm.
dropping hints. Now, even those kind of, I don't feel like living anymore, life, I am better off this world and all, even these statements should be taken up very seriously. You should not like jokingly pass them off like nothing like that, and it's just momentary, you will get well. No, it's not like that. We should not let things skip. Even these small statements are of paramount importance if we look in the
You
hindsight.
never know, right? You never know, no? You never know if you're ignoring
Absolutely.
that particular statement at the point of time, and you never know if that person might take their life at the very next moment. So it is very
Yeah.
much important for us also to pick those subtle signs, there subtle symptoms or signs we can say people depressed patients shows,
Yeah.
and we have to pick those up.
And
That's
now for picking those up, it's again on how aware you are, how much knowledge you have regarding that.
yeah, yeah.
So for
That's
that,
very
you
important.
have to spend some time, like how we Google liver cirrhosis and TB and I don't know what all physical illness. You should have the same attitude in like knowing that you have that kind of knowledge about the science. So only if you
Right.
know the sign, the mind sees what the eye sees, whatever the mind knows. Ultimately, if you
Right.
know, if you, yeah, absolutely. If you just take out some time and spend some of your time to know about the illness, to know about what your near and dear ones are going through, probably it will just help a long way. And you never know, you might end up actually preventing an impending suicide. So
Yeah,
yeah, so
that's
awareness is
yeah, that's a very important point that you have said. So we have got to know well, so many different kind of points that you have shared with us, and they're so very much of importance. So yes, we have completed with that part. Now I'll just talk about treatment part. Like we have treatment for jaundice or liver cirrhosis or any kind of flu infection, whatever it is. Like now, COVID patients are also being treated. So, I just want to know about, in short, about the treatment, whatever it is. It's rather it be counseling, rather it be antidepressants, or whatever it is. Just elaborate us in that.
treatment. See, from what your viewers would rather be benefited by whether uh, by the knowledge of whether or not to seek treatment rather than
Yeah,
the technicalities of the treatment, right?
right.
So to know the importance of treatment, one should know the importance of the disease,
Yes.
right? So if you start treating brain, like I have already said, as any other organ of the body, which is as important as your liver, lungs, stomach, anything. If you start viewing brain as like any other organ, so you'll start seeing depression as the disease of the brain, like jaundice to liver or RTI, respiratory tract infection to lungs. Then you'll start correlating that depression is a biological basis. Depression has a biological basis. If you can grasp that little point that it just has a biological basis, then you'll understand the significance of taking a treatment. And regarding the treatment part, treatment again depends on the severity of depression. So usually it is said that mild depression, what the FDA guidelines states that mild depression is usually treatable by non-pharmacotherapy measures, which includes counseling. Common terms we call it counseling. And then there are very different kinds of counseling. There are cognitive behavioral therapy, behavioral therapy, interpersonal therapy, like that. Yeah. And then there are, for moderate and severe kind of depression, treatment is must. Pharmacotherapy is the first line of treatment. So basically in depression, what happens, very simply put, the neurotransmitter on the brain, there is an imbalance in the neurotransmitter of the brain, namely serotonin and norepinephrine. And to put it right back on track, we'll need some kind of other chemicals. So just motivation and talking out will not help. Like I said, if you understand the biological basis of depression, you'll definitely see the importance of taking treatment, going to a
Right.
doctor, going to a specialist, and taking treatment.
Right.
So basically, treatment is pharmacotherapy and non-pharmacotherapy. Pharmacotherapy entails prescription of antidepressant drugs, which is usually continued. The usual duration of taking the medication varies from somewhere 6 months following remission to 1 year to 2 years. It depends on the person to person. It depends on the person's remission, significance, severity of symptoms, like that. And non-pharmacotherapy, which I said, all kind of therapies and all. So that's the treatment part in short. But apart from treatment, the first thing you have to know, your viewers have to know, is the importance of taking treatment, which
Yeah.
they will know only if they grasp the meaning that depression has a biological basis. Am I
Yeah.
making sense?
Yeah, definitely you're making sense. That's what I just wanted to put it again, that it is something biologic, but it's something in our body only, something chemical disbalance happening in our
Yeah.
mind, in our body.
So
So
counseling doesn't always help, because
help.
a person suffering from diabetes, you cannot go and counsel that patient, and he can't expect the blood sugar level to come back to normal on its own just based on counseling. Or a hypertensive patient, to go and counsel him and without taking any medication, you can't expect him to come his blood pressure to normal. Just like that, when your brain is having a chemical imbalance which is causing the symptoms and signs of depression, you cannot expect the person to listen to your talks and then suddenly this this neurotransmitter levels will come back to the original normal level. It's not like that. You just have to take it as simple as that. If you are
Yes.
having illness, you go and take treatments to bring them right back on where they should be, the chemical levels. Just that.
Yeah.
So that is the importance of pharmacotherapy, the importance
Pharmacotherapy.
of taking medication. Yeah.
Yes.
Which you'll get only after if you go to a specialist.
Yeah. Not
So
everybody
that's
can
where the
prescribe
importance of,
antidepressant medicines. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. So that is where the importance of psychiatrists come,
Comes into play.
because they are the ones, yeah, comes into play, absolutely, because they are the ones who will be the best judge of whether you need or not any
That's right.
kind of pharmacotherapy.
Right. So basically, treatment depends on the severity of the disease and depends on the stage of the depression that you are in. You are at that particular time, and if you are having such kind of thing, then definitely go and rush to the psychiatrist, because they are the only ones who will prescribe medicines. Because it's not like a paracetamol that you go to the pharmacy and the pharmacist will
Yeah.
give you paracetamol or any kind of antibiotic or whatever it is, and you just take and it will just go off. It's not like that.
And then
You ask
there is
specialist.
yeah, absolutely. There is another thing I'd like to say. Then there is a common misperception of people having fearing about the adverse effects, the side effect of medication. That is something again which prevents a person or a patient to go ahead and take treatment.
Yes,
That's
right.
pretty logical. That adverse effect, the concern about it is absolutely logical. But then tell me a medicine which does not have a side effect. Right.
Yeah,
Even paracetamol
definitely.
can cause disease, liver damage, absolutely,
Right.
fulminant hepatitis, which is absolutely
Right.
fatal. And then anti-diabetic, the diabetic medication can cause hypoglycemia, there is sudden drop in sugar level, and then even next moment you never know, you are in coma and might end up dead. And then
Right.
this antihypertensive, the ones which are used to clear hypertension, even they might cause a sudden dip in the pressure and then dizziness and all. So just tell me a medicine which does not have a side effect.
Right.
There is no such medicine. So regarding those people who are concerned about the side effects, then yeah, you might have or might not have. It's not like mandatory you are going to have side effects. Some side effects which are very tolerable and within the therapeutic range they might occur, but then they are not fatal. Usually medicines are prescribed keeping into view the complete profile of the patient. So yeah,
Right.
there, for those people who are concerned about taking going to a psychiatrist just because they are afraid they might be started on some kind of medication, especially for them, like not to think about the side effects, because ultimately, yeah, just it's better to suffer mild side effects rather than suffering the entire disease. I don't think.
Definitely right. So yes, you are well said that there is not a single medication which will not cause any kind of side effects. So keeping the side effect side, it is very much important to tackle with the disease, because if you go into that severe states, then you don't know whatever things you will have to. It will be more added on. So why you don't know whatever medications you'll have to take more, because as the disease progresses, the dose varies. Like if you have a mild form of depression, the dose might vary. I'm just saying that the dose might vary, but if you have a severe depressive state, you're in a depressed state, then the dose might vary. So it depends entirely on you when you go to your psychiatrist to show about your disease. So treatment also, we have in brief, we have just got to know, because it's a show for our layman people, for our viewers. So it's we kept in a very
Yeah,
simplified way.
for layman, the simplified the take home message for layman is just to go and to go to a psychiatrist. That's all.
Yeah.
Treatment, what it will be meted out to you is none of your headache. Whatever it will be dealt, keeping your entire profile in mind. So
Yes, right.
treatment is secondary. First, you have to go and ask about it. At least go and ask about your problem, have a knowledge of your problem. At least for that sake, go to a psychiatrist,
Right, right.
because the side effect of an antidepressant can be nausea, vomiting, like that, gastric irritation, like that. But then the side effect of depression is like, I don't know what kind of it's the loss of your socio-occupational life, and in many
Yes.
cases it turns into the side effect.
Yeah,
Worst side effect is suicide.
yeah, that's
So
what I wanted to say,
everything
Dr.
is better than, yeah,
That's what I wanted
everything
to
is
say.
better than suicide. That is the worst side effect.
The
So yeah,
exact, if you can't bear this nausea and vomiting, then you will have to bear that loss of that. Yes, Dr. Deepjyoti also said we must save the person. Yes, otherwise you will just lost that person, or you will lost yourself. So that's a very important point. So we'll come to the next point is prevention. Prevention in the sense that um, as in the previous session, Dr. Kaustubh said that COVID is something like it's preventable disease, like this mental health or depression or any kind of something deviating from the normal, the maybe the mental status is deviating from the normal, can we just prevent it and not going into that kind of sadness or depressive state initially? If can we just prevent it in the beginning stage only?
see, not how to put it. It's not something that you can absolutely curb at the primordial level. You know, na, there are four levels of prevention: primordial, primary, secondary, and tertiary level. It's not something. Depression is not something that can be curbed at the primordial level, because you never know what's how. But what you can do, how can prevent, one thing is to have good coping strategy. That's very important. If a child is taught to have good coping strategy right from his beginning, right from the beginning, that goes a long way to take part in activities which will help build up this team spirit, sportsmanship spirit, to help in instilling a sense of unity, and then the sense of compassionate, and then the ability to take failure in your stride. These things are something which I think that will help to a certain point in preventing the occurrence of depression. But then, having said that, depression has many other conditions, including genetic factors and all, and more than ever in this our current conditions also, that also plays a very important role. So basically, having good skills, coping mechanism, that's of paramount importance in like tackling depression. But then there are obviously situations like staying away from stressful situation will also help in preventing depression. But come
Right.
on, let's be practical. That's unavoidable.
Mm.
Current
Yes.
world, yeah. If I say, staying away from stressful situation, as in conflict between partners, conflict between workplace, then workplace discordial, educational failure. Come on, these are something which is
Unavoidable.
unavoidable.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
although theoretically speaking, if you stay away from the stress, you'll obviously not have symptoms of depression. But then, very practically speaking, that's not possible.
Not
So, what we
possible.
can do to prevent is inculcate in us, like qualities which will help us tackle this stress better.
Yes.
Like I said, and these should be inculcated right from childhood, because as I've already said that this young mind, so if you're talking about prevention level, then it should begin from as early as school life, as early as class 3,
Yeah.
class 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can't avoid stress, but what we can do is handle them better. And
Yes.
how we can do is by tactics which we have learned from a very young age. If something which we
Mm.
have learned from a very young age, and participating in things, to go out and mingle, that helps a lot. If you go out and mingle with people, and then you'll get to know so many things about that, you'll have knowledge and know, and then probably that will help you. That will help you tackle your own difficulties in a better way. Am I making sense?
Yes, yes, definitely. I am
Yeah.
just correlating whatever you said. I'm just correlating something. Yeah, I'm just lost into what they have said. Please continue. Please continue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what we can do is improve our coping skills, and then instill it this in, like,
Yeah.
we should be laid back to certain extent. How can I very simply put? This is very competitive and ambitious. It's good, but then we should not push ourselves.
Hmm.
We should
This is
not
the
push
limit.
ourselves to an extent that not fulfilling it will cause us that kind of, I don't know, ashanti, that kind of, I don't know, mental imbalance, angst
Hmm.
and anxiety. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what.
Yeah. So basically, introvert people somehow they face more such kind of things. Is it something like the introvert and extrovert something? It just came suddenly in my mind that when you said that just go out and talk to the people or mingle with people, it's something. It just abruptly came to my mind. It's something related to introvert, extrovert.
See, when I said talk to people, I didn't mean like you have to go physically all out and talk to people. You can read about them and all. Just, to have the knowledge, to broaden your horizon and to see that what people are facing, and you are not the only one, and what you are suffering from is not the worst of the situation. To get that
Yes.
idea, for that, you don't need to physically go out of your home and talk to people. You can just
Talk
read
to people.
about them, read about what, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, like
Yes.
that. In that perspective, I was saying. And regarding introvert and extrovert, I don't think so. I mean, everybody is vulnerable. I mean, everybody. It's
Mm.
just your coping skills. If your coping skills are good, no matter you are an introvert or an extrovert, you are going to surface. I mean, tide over the, I don't know, the adverse situation or whatever tough times you are having. So it just depends on coping. And regarding the, yeah, once is this, another factor is your anger threshold. That that is an important personality aspect which determines the development of depression. Anger threshold and impulsivity, that is also something. And mood fluctuations. And it is commonly said that not introvert or extrovert, but the perfectionist, such depressive symptoms are commonly said to develop. If you are talking about personality, since you have asked the question about the personality factor in the
Yeah.
cognition of depression, introvert,
Yeah. Yeah.
extrovert, it's neither. Rather, it's those perfectionists who have a habit of setting a very high bar for them, high expectation for them, to do something, to achieve something. So it's that perfectionists who are more prone to develop depressive symptoms. And on the other extreme, the impulsive people, those with lower anger threshold, because those with lower anger threshold are usually the ones who have poor coping skills. So
Mm.
it is mostly these kind of personality traits which predisposes a person towards development of depressive symptoms, provided the environment is again in a harsh, stressful environment. So it's not
Right.
about introvert or extrovert.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Suddenly clicked my mind. So I just there's a I saw in some picture or I don't know, I don't remember where I have come through, but I just quoted in Hindi. It is a saying that somebody said that हम लोगों को स्कूल कॉलेजेस में ये सिखाया जाता है कि कैसे बड़े लाइक आफ्टर गोइंग आउट हमें कैसे पैसे कमाना है लाइक एक डिग्री लेकर हमें पैसे कमाना होता है वी आर टॉट दिस थिंग कि बाहर जाके स्कूल कॉलेज से बाहर जाके पैसे कमाना है डिग्री लेना है पैसे कमाना है बट हमें ये नहीं सिखाया जाता कि वो पैसे कमाने के टाइम में द सिचुएशन दैट इज गोइंग टू बी देयर we are not taught that whatever the scenario that we'll have to face, it's not an easy to work in a corporate world or any sort of work, either in a hospital work, in a hospital setup or in a corporate or anything thing you need. It's not easy to work there. So we are not taught at the primary level to handle that situation while working at our
Exactly.
corporate level. But we are taught to gain money, or yeah,
Exactly.
that's what I.
This is what I'm saying. This is what needs to be changed. So when I'm saying long back in the beginning of our talk, when I said that schools and all, only currently only a handful of schools and all, they are incorporating programs which focuses really on the mental health. This thing now, it needs to be widespread. That thought that you just mentioned, we are taught to run after money and all at the cost of our mental health. That needs to be changed. Yeah. So again, like I said, beginning of intervention at the school level, this is
Yeah,
where this thing comes.
yeah.
If you like
So
begin, you will be able to, yeah, handle your work life, the work stress well only when you are able to do your like school life, or your, or to say it, only when you have a good coping mechanism, which again is should be taught as early as the beginning of your school life through various activities.
yeah, school anyhow. This it's the is at the level of the school is the main point where it shapes the person. No, it shapes the personality of the of
Yeah,
a
yeah,
student,
yeah,
of a person, shapes the personality. So I think rather than talking at this point of time where we have crossed so many barriers of our life, so many stages, we are talking depression, we're talking about depression right now. If we are taught this thing, if we are at least taught something about mental health at an initial stage. You said that you probably have encountered in a school where you have such kind of like what I say, some kind of sessions, like mental sessions. But not all school have such kind of mental health awareness sessions.
majority do not have. Yeah,
Majority do not know. Majority know. I have not. I think you told me that that now I got to know. So it's the mandatory. That this thing should be mandatory at the school level only.
yeah.
It's a kind of, it's very important to talk right now at this age. But it is very important to talk when that person is a kid, when he's just
When he
going
is in
to,
a very impressionable mind, yeah, only
yeah,
then, yeah, it's the best age to
yeah,
formation of
yeah,
habit, making or breaking habit, making of
right,
certain qualities. Yeah,
right.
that's the best age.
Yeah, that will only help, I think, to reduce the number of suicides also, and to tackle the corporate world stress, you know. So yeah,
Yeah,
oh my
yeah.
God, I have got to know a lot of things today. So, and our viewers also, they have also got to know a lot of things. So it is what it is that at the end of the show, I just want you, Dr. Sriparna, to send a very strong message. You being a budding psychiatrist, upcoming psychiatrist, in a year or two, you're going to be a psychiatric practicing psychiatry. So, a very strong message to our viewers, to all the people around who would be watching, who is watching now, and who would be watching later on our IGTV. Just a strong message to everyone.
What strong message I from for your viewers, all I can say is like you just need to come out and seek treatment. That's it. If you start seeing the psychiatric illnesses as something which has a biological basis, like I have said already probably a gazillion times now. So
Yes,
if you
yes.
start understanding that, because creating awareness and all these are like on a bigger level, it's not something
Hmm.
which can be done on an individual level. So what, as your viewers or any other person out there who is seeing this or who will be seeing this, for them it is that you need to start seeing psychiatric illness as something which has a biological basis. Only then you will know the importance of treatment. And I don't see any point in suffering in illness. You don't suffer in fever, you don't suffer in stomach ache or jaundice. You just go straight away to a doctor. You just need to treat psychiatric illness like any other kind of physical illness or a disease of the brain. Psychiatric illnesses do have a basis, biological basis, and their ultimately their inception is in the brain, just like the inception of so many diseases related are in the different parts of our body. Yes, psychiatric illness do have an inception in the brain. You need to understand that, and then you need to know. But for curing a psychiatric illness, it's not always counseling or taking, like, I don't know, going for some other, going to tantric, or I don't know, whatever people do, or it's just about, yeah, it's a biological disease caused by an imbalance in the brain. That imbalance of chemicals can be made all right again by use of some external chemicals which are in the form of medicines, and these
Medicine.
medicines can be prescribed by a
Yes.
psychiatrist.
Yes.
So all you have to do is understand that basis and then come forward for help. That's it.
Yes.
And regarding people, whoever says whatever, कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, लोगों का काम है कहना, that doesn't
Yes.
mean you need to suffer in silence. Absolutely not. That's
या कुछ
not
तो
done.
लोग अगर हम ये सोचेंगे कि लोग क्या सोचेंगे तो हम क्या करेंगे, what they will do if we'll keep on thinking that what
Exactly.
people will say, that what you have done their work also, now what they will do.
Exactly. If people have no shaming peeing in public and peeing on the street and defecating on the street, I don't think so. You should be ashamed of coming out and seeking for professional help.
Yeah, definitely,
Something,
definitely.
yeah,
Yeah. So from now, from not now, from yes, if you have anybody have, and if you have stomach ache, you rush to your physician to consult. And if you have any kind of sadness, no, if you don't find anybody to talk, then go and rush to a psychiatrist. They are already available there. It is just that they are a step ahead of you. They're just a phone call or just a step ahead. You just need to go and talk
absolutely.
to them. They are studying this. They are working day and night. I know how they and how the people of medical fraternity they work. They study. There are a lot of burden on them, and being in a healthcare profession, it's not an easy task because we have to
Absolutely.
deal with people. We have to deal with people. Let it be in any way. Let it be dealing with your liver, dealing with your bone, kidney, your teeth, or your brain. It's the same thing. It's all in a body. So thank you
Yeah,
so
you
much.
just have to know the importance. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the importance is main thing. How you give priorities. It's
Yeah, you should
yeah,
know to prioritize. That's it. You should
yeah,
treat mental illness like any other illness of the body. That's it.
yeah,
That's the understanding. That's the thing you should take home. You should
yeah,
ingrain in your mind.
yeah.
Only then, if you start seeing psychiatric illness, you need to change your perspective. If you start seeing psychiatric problem as having to do something with your body and not just something with your environment, only then you will know the importance of taking treatment.
Yeah, definitely. So they are there to help you. They are doing their post graduation in psychiatry to help people only. They are not doing to help themselves. They are already helping themselves. They are not in that kind of state. They are studying to help us, to help other people. So any need, just go and talk to them. Our viewers now they have just got to know about Dr. Sri Prana, and Dr. Deep Jyoti is also there. So I think I should recommend that if they have any issue, they can just consult you.
Absolutely.
I'll just tell my viewers any help. You can either tell me, I will convey your message to Dr. Sripanna, or you can directly contact Dr.
No,
Sripanna if
I'll
you have
be in
any.
GMCH. People can feel free to come and meet me.
Yeah.
I'll be in GMCH. If they have any kind of mental health issues, they can just come and meet me.
Yes, Dr.
I am
Sripanna
there
is there.
7 days a week.
Yeah, 7 days they have been working so hard. So she is a postgraduate trainee in Guwahati Medical College. So any issue, do not wait for your stage to go into depression. Go and rush to her. She is there to help. So Dr. Sriparna, thank you so much for accepting our request and being our guest
Thank
today.
you for having
And
me over. Thank you so
thank
much.
you for enlightening us with your valuable words. And we have got a lot of things to know from both of you. So thank you so much, and we're looking forward to have such important discussions in the near future. I hope you would be available for us too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you so much.
Okay.
Have a yeah. Take and be safe. You're going to have your COVID duty, so take care of yourself also, along with the patients.
Okay.
So
You too take care. Stay safe.
thank you
Stay
so much.
safe and
Okay,
stay
bye.
sane.
Stay safe is very important right now to say.
Stay safe and more importantly, stay sane. That's much more
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so rightly said. So thank you so much for all of your valuable and wiseful words. Thank you so much, and we'll again have you in the near future to
Thank
again
you.
discuss such kind of mental health issues. Till then, bye. Take care. Good night.
Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye.
Yes. Bye.
So I just want our viewers to please stay back, and I just want to have a short discussion, very short discussion. I just want our viewers to just stay back for a discussion of 2 minutes. I just have to say a few things to our viewers, to people across. And I hope till now you had very wonderful sessions. I really had I got to know a lot of things from both the doctors. They are very good doctors, and they are very eminent doctors in their field. They are upcoming doctors, and they are upcoming psychiatrists and orthopedicians. So here I just like to mention one thing, that uh, we know that doctors are frontline workers. They do anything to keep us safe and healthy. So since past few decades or past few years, exactly I don't remember, but since past few years, this is the problem of assaulting, physically abusing or assaulting a doctor or a healthcare professional have increased in a very tremendous way. Like the numbers, if you go through the news every day, there is a news in the media that people, or the patient itself, or the attendant of the patient are hurting a physician, hurting a doctor. They're physically abusing, or using abusive words. So without knowing the situation, without knowing that what kind of hardships they go through, the doctors they go through, you are just assaulting them. Not a single doctor is taught in their medical life, in the medical whole career. So this is the time they have joined the medical field to the time they will die. Not a single doctor or healthcare professional is taught to do harm to people. They are not taught. So why this physical abusing such kind of things goes on? It's because people are not aware. They think that the doctors are always, they should always make the patient fit again. But some scenarios are different. You need to understand this thing. Doctors are not something that you will just go and hit them. We know how a doctor goes through all this kind of situations. So I just want to say this, that if you come across such kind of situation where you see that a patient or an attendant is physically or verbally or by language abusing a doctor or any healthcare professional, then go and then tell to the doctor that we know how a doctor have come a long way to be a doctor and treat you. So I think that's a very important thing, that you go and tell them that how a doctor goes to all those kind of training to help people. So I think by that way, I think we can stop the physical assaulting that if doctor goes through. So by this only, we have come to the end of our show. We had a very nice and wonderful evening with two very eminent doctors. So thank you so much. Thank all the viewers for joining this session today. And we will just come. We will have our next sessions that we will soon update on our page. Be here with us and keep supporting us like this, so that we can do such kind of more activities and help you guys. So by that, I'm signing off today. Thank you so much for joining. Bye. Good night. Take care.